Hi, everyone. It's Ricardo Vargas here, and this is the 5 Minutes Podcast. For about 2 weeks, I was basically offline, okay? I was dedicated to move my home. And it's incredible because it's amazing how much we can learn from a process like this one. And just to give you some background, this is nothing that I decided from one day to another. I sold my former house and bought a new one in the last quarter of last year. So few months ago, it was not one day ago. And I decided to wait until now to do the move because it's a less busy time for me. So I can manage, I can be more present, and I can dedicate a little bit more to do the move. And between the last quarter of last year and early this year, as a project manager, I did whatever I could to plan. So I take the floor plan, I adapt the furniture. For example, because I'm moving from a bigger home to a small apartment as part of a project that my wife and I would call the downsizing project. Because now, my kids have gone. So I want to have, I would say, a more simple life that gives me more flexibility. So we decided to sell some stuff, to donate some stuff, and reduce a little bit the size of our life and, of course, our home. And the move kicked off the last week of January. And in parallel, I decided to do a small renovation in the apartment. And this renovation, honestly, is not a big one at all. So I just prepared my studio. I decided to put a second internet line using Starlink. So Starlink plus the traditional internet to have some redundancy in my studio, to do some acoustic in my studio. So these small things. And I need to tell you, it was a nightmare. It was a true nightmare this past 2 weeks. And I want to share with you something that I learned. 3 points for us to remember that would offer each of you a perspective on how project management evolves. The first one is it does not matter how much you plan, how much you prepare. Changes and unexpected events will happen, period. There is no way. And of course, maybe when I say that, some people will say, so Ricardo, why did you plan? Because if I didn't plan, it's not just how much you plan, it's just a nightmare. It just, things just collapse because even with all the plan I did, changes happen, unexpected happen. For example, when I started the renovation, I said I need to turn on the light in the house because, of course, the seller cut the light and I need to make a plan and sign up with the energy company. And I said, okay, this would take 4 hours because for me, this is so obvious. It took 5 days. So the first 5 days, we painted the house and we did everything without electricity, without power. And when we built, for example, things on the wall of my studio, I recognized that the wall was not sufficient strong to hold the acoustic plates. So we had to buy specific screws for that. And to not fail on the delivery, I had to bring these screws to the worker that is doing renovation at midnight Tuesday last week. I drove 25 kilometers. This is about 16 miles just to deliver that. And this brings me to the second thing I learned. If you want to deliver, you must commit to your delivery. You must do whatever it takes to deliver. Whatever it takes to deliver. It's impossible for you to think about delivering and to think about meeting the deadlines if you are not committed to that. So it doesn't work. From 9 to 5, you will never deliver what it takes. And my third learning, the traditional graph, effort versus time. Do you remember when you were studying project management? There is a traditional graphic, probably one of the most important graphics to understand project behavior. It's effort over time. And this graph shows that effort goes up, goes up, goes up until it reaches a peak. And this peak is called the chaos point that I call. And it's the point that you reach the maximum effort. And I need to be honest with you. There is a chaos point. And this chaos point happened to me about 1 week ago. It's the week that you are pretty much dominated by despair. Because, I was not working. For example, basically there are 15 days that I'm unable to work, unable to answer my emails. And then everything starts collapsing. And then you see your bed with, a gallon of paint on the side, and your bathroom is not working. The kitchen is just a mess. Everything. It's something like your life is just upside down. And you say, why I did that? And honestly, my answer to you on that is there is a chaos point. It doesn't matter. Be prepared for that. And maybe it's not a point. Maybe it's a whole week. Maybe it's a whole month of chaos. Just be prepared for that. And honestly, what is the most interesting and the reason why I recorded this podcast is to share this with you, is that we always think that projects are nuclear power plants, massive digital transformation projects. No, a move or wedding planning, or, for example, maybe your final work at the university. These are also a project. And it does not matter how much you plan, changes and unexpected events will happen. And to deliver, you must commit. There is no way you will deliver something just doing plain work. And the chaos point will exist. So it does not matter how much you prepare. Things will happen and you need to be prepared for that. And this is an answer to some people that ask me, Ricardo, how do I get more experience in projects? It's by applying projects in your daily life. As I'm telling you, look, I'm doing this for 30 years and I'm learning. And I'm feeling the pain of the unexpected. I'm feeling the pain of, bringing a sofa and say, it does not fit well on this wall. And what do I do with this sofa? And this is part of life of those who decided to work in project management. Be mindful of that. Enjoy your week. And next week, I hope I will record a podcast saying, okay, my move is over. Okay, but now I need to go back to the boxes. Have a great week. See you next week.